then you can join.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you join, I'll add you.
Okay.
So it seems that they're informing the followers that we're live, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, I can see. Oh.
Okay. So it seems that they're informing the followers that we're live, something like that.
Yeah, I am now.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, I'm enjoying.
Okay, so then okay, you're sorry. We'll see each other very soon in the screen, hopefully. Yeah, you're connected. Yeah, we made it. Okay, let me just make this so we are both in the same screen. Sorry, there you are. Okay, got it. Okay, guys. Um, Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I'm trying to get better with all this technology. But it seems like if you want to be on every channel, it's very difficult. How you have to connect with Facebook and with Instagram, with different computer and phone. Anyway, but we're here. Can you hear me well, Nathalie?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So let's see if people is starting to say hello, so they're joining. That's awesome. But I'm just gonna wait for a little bit just to introduce you properly. But thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
Good, I'm good.
You look even tan. I mean, it's
Yeah, I live in Florida. Always sunny.
always sunny, right?
Always
But
sunny in the morning and rains a lot in the afternoon, usually. That's what
oh my
happens.
gosh. Okay, okay. But I mean, you are in Vero Beach, right? You're not in
Yes.
Miami.
No, Vero.
Where exactly it is? Tell us where.
It's 2 hours and a half from Miami, an hour and a half from Orlando. So actually, it's like in the middle of anything.
Okay, but you are by the beach or
On-
not?
yes, yes.
On the shore. Okay, that's awesome. Because you come from Sao Paulo, right? So I guess that the lively kind of scenery of Miami it reminds you home somehow, or it's completely different?
I think more New York. New York's more like Sao Paulo, busier,
Okay.
bigger, traffic insane, a lot of buildings, and yeah, like Miami, it's like more Rio, and New York's more like Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo. Okay, okay, that's interesting. I've never been into Sao Paulo. Well, I've never been to Brazil. So
Yeah, very nice place too.
I know, I know. Actually, when was the last time? Because you went to visit family and friends. Because with all this craziness, have you been allowed to travel at all?
I went to Brazil in November to see my family before Christmas, and
Since then, so a year.
yeah, exactly, it's almost a year. Yeah, they
Oh
were supposed
wow.
to come in March, but couldn't happen because of coronavirus situation. And then actually, I think they're coming in February in my birthday.
Okay, okay,
And they,
not that far away. Not that far away. Okay,
yeah,
well, let me introduce you properly because I see that there are some people still joining, but I don't wanna just go into the conversation. We are both very chatty, so I want to introduce you properly. But well, hi guys, I'm Patty, the founder and director of ArchiCAD US. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm happy to have Natalie because the last time I saw her, she was in Madrid running all over. I don't know if you remember that, but you stopped by and visited us at our office. And she was full of energy. She was part of our program, the Job+J1. So looking forward to get a job. I think that at that time you didn't have a job yet, right? We haven't found it
no,
yet.
I actually, the day that I arrived in Spain, I went first to Barcelona and I did my interview for this job here in Barcelona in a
Oh, wow.
hospital in the middle of pub crowd. Was like insane, but work, work. I'm here.
You're there, right? So no, now that you're saying everything that you
Oh,
able to
let
find
me
a
start now.
place. Oh, it went off?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Huh, this
No,
is
no.
weird.
Ask me
Okay.
again. Sorry. No.
I hope it works now. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes, I remember that you were struggling because you were just visiting, and all of a sudden we scheduled the interview for you, and it was one of
Mhm.
those now or never, right? And I'm glad that you did it because
Mhm.
yeah, Natalie has a very beautiful story. She will tell us right now. But yeah, she just joined the program, I guess, willing to get some help in terms of job hunting, try to find a job in the US. Obviously from overseas is difficult, and that's why we try to help you all guys every day. And yeah, you were a part of the pool just for a couple of months. It was not a long time, right?
No, I think I apply. I talked to you guys in August, and then until I sent all my like CV, portfolio, everything else, and then as soon as I sent everything and you guys approved me, and I pay everything else, I think in already in 1 week I already had like 2 or 3 interviews, like one in
Yeah.
New York, one in Los Angeles, another in New York, and then I think like 3 weeks later I have this interview, and 1 week later they propose me, like they
Yeah.
send the
And you
forms. Yeah,
married.
quick.
And
What?
you married to them, and you moved to
Yeah,
Vero.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know what? We have to be very honest, and we really kind of miss those golden days, just because with the pandemic, everything has slowed down. I mean, we're starting to see things picking up. Like the industry seems to be, I mean, everyone is willing to keep moving, right? So it seems that some projects that have been put on hold are starting to move again. So hopefully we will be able to, just saying this for all the people that are part of the community right now, that we will be able to provide, that pace in terms of openings very soon. But so tell us, so you were just visiting Spain at that time, but you were in the middle of deciding what to do. Why did you pick the US? Because you also experience, the international kind of scene in Australia, right?
Yeah, yeah. I went to Australia as soon as I graduated, for study a kind of, uh, how can I explain? It's a kind of technical, like more for technical vocabulary. So like, so how do you say door in a proper way? Like the small details, join, Nico
So all the
join, like
technical. Hmm.
yes, exactly. And I was able to find a job, like an intern. I was intern because I was studying, so it couldn't be like a full job. And then I worked there for 3 months, and for the same reason that I'm here, I came back home from Australia. And after that, I came back to Brazil. I was able to work a little bit more like in my industry. Like I work with Baco architects. So for 2 years and a half, I worked in an airport project, and then
That was the one that you were saying that you completely fell in love with. Like the experience was amazing, right?
yeah, the experience was amazing because I helped for a year, like designing, develop, so like doing the details, sections, plans, 3D.
Like
And
construction documents.
yeah, exactly. And then my boss one day, on a Friday night, he called my table and said, "Can you come to like the meeting room?" I said, "Oh my God, it's not good news. Friday night, boss calling here to go to like the meeting room." But actually, he invited me to like, do you think, are you able to move to Belo Horizonte, which is another city, to work in the field? Like, we need someone supervising the construction, like the engineers, like they're not doing really well, they're not looking the drawings. We need someone to make sure that they are doing exactly what we designed. I
Right.
say, yes, of course.
How old were you at that time?
Probably 21, 22.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
was,
impressive. I mean,
so
that they trust you at that level.
yeah. So, and then I moved to Belo Horizonte for almost 10 months. Was really insane experience because it was really nice, but at the same time really intense. Like, we are really late. That airport was supposed to be ready before the World Cup, and they started the construction after the World
Oh
Cup.
my
So
God.
we already started late.
I see.
And then it was like, we need to have like, we just keep going,
But
working 12
how
hours.
do you how oh sorry, I cut you off.
And then I came back to Sao Paulo, working in another amazing company.
But wait. Then I'm gonna ask you the question I was gonna say, like, because maybe the people are just watching us are wondering how do you land into that, such a big opportunity in terms of responsibility at that early age. Is because
Uh,
you had got some, background in the field for some sort of
yeah,
experience
exactly.
before? Or?
Yeah. So when I was in college, like, I don't know how is that, like, here it would be college, but in Brazil it's university, and I don't know how exactly they say in Spain. But so when I was
Uh,
in like university,
yes.
I used to study at night, so I could work the whole day. And I worked on the field for 3 years. So it's the building that
Uh-huh.
you put like the Sao Paulo Corporate Tower. So I was able to work there for almost 3 years
Oh,
on the
wow.
field. Like
So
there,
that
yeah,
explains,
was
that
a
explains. Okay, because
yeah,
that
and
that
we were
links that your story links a little bit with one of the participants that we interviewed. I don't know if it was the last time or like a month ago with Guillermo, that he also got such a great opportunity already in the US. He's now working in San Francisco, and he's going to the field every day. He's reviewing workshop drawings and doing red marks, like very kind of advanced experience, like CA kind of experience. And I was curious to know how he, got to that level or that position. And it seems that, people tend to think that I got an internship in this thing that probably won't impact my future, or it won't have any, effect in my CV. And that shouldn't be the case. That's actually, wrong. Every single thing you do professionally is composing who you are going to be. You are kind of growing as a professional, and every step will count. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to always embrace the opportunity that comes to you, make the most out of it, because that might be actually the door opening to a bigger opportunity down the line, right? And
yes.
so I'm sure that I know that you have, we will get there, that responsibility too now here in the US, right? Like you're, taking care of projects by yourself and so on. And that obviously probably wouldn't have come if you didn't have any sort of experience in the past. So even if you're starting in your early career and, you land in an internship where you are just reviewing those schedules,
Mm-hmm.
that will actually give you a lot of experience, very technical, very hands-on, very real world, and
Mm-hmm.
and and that's fantastic. I mean, you were really lucky, for such a big opportunity. And in an airport, I cannot imagine what it might look like to work in an airport at that age.
Yeah, it was really nice, a really nice responsibility, and like the dynamic, and how you even imagine how many things we need to think in an airport. Like garbage is something really important in the airport. Like everything that comes from,
Circulations for that, yeah.
yeah, because you like a lot of toxic, everything that comes from the like the airplane. If it's an international flight, cannot have any kind of contact with people, like from, because can bring a disease from just in the garbage, you know.
Yeah.
So food, animals, and security, we have so many issues. Like we are wanting to develop some entrance, and like security, no, we cannot do this because they can like put in a letter like powder with like you know, like
Yeah.
chemicals. And it's so like, especially when
Yeah,
it's
the logistics, right, of
yeah.
behind the project.
So it was really interesting. Like it was really interesting. Like deal with the police because we have like international like rules and the national, and they want it in a way, and my boss want another way, and I'm like, you need to like, okay, I need to make both happy. Like how I'm going to do this.
And I mean that job led you to go back to Sao Paulo again and
Yeah.
start working in Baco, I think is the
Yeah,
name.
no, this Baco was when I was working for the airport, and then
Oh, okay, sorry.
I started to work to FGMF 2 months after, and was another amazing experience. They are really like famous in Brazil. They are an amazing office. They have like really, they are definitely contemporary, modern, and it's a kind of revolution what's happening in Sao Paulo with architecture. So they are part of this, and they are doing a really good job. I hope my ex-boss is listening to this because they are really amazing.
Sure. Okay, we can always send him the recording.
Yeah, and yeah, so I was able to work with different buildings. I was in a building team, so we are basically doing buildings. And in a year and a half, I was able to develop like 4 different envelopes. I was like
Yes.
working insane. They're another level of working, but it was pretty intense. A really good experience, and definitely helps me a lot in my CV.
Okay.
Yeah, like
And
if you look,
that was right before you decided to move to the US, or
yes,
I
when I
just
was
don't have
there.
in my. Okay.
So this
And
is what I started work with them like be beginning of 2017, and I talked to you guys around July of 2018.
okay, a year after. Got it. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure that, well, everyone who's watching, please feel free to leave your comments. I'll try to look at them as you send the questions. I saw a few questions. Oh my God, there are too many people here. I cannot even find them now. But okay, let's keep going, and then I'll look at all the comments. But I'm sure that people are, is wondering, how did you actually adapt to, such a different scenario, like when you were studying in Australia or when you first moved to the US? Are there any similarities in terms of how you approach as an architect to the design process, for instance, or to the construction process among the
Um,
3 continents that you've been working
yeah.
on?
So no, basically like it's pretty the same. It's just here is different. Um, Here we work really with the client. Like I definitely have like the phone number of the client, and I never have this intimacy before,
Yeah.
you know. So we do like custom residence here. So I'm part of the whole process. So I met the clients, like, and then we listen what they want, and then we start to the preliminary sketch, and then like develop, and then we go to the field, see how is the lot and everything else. And so I'm part of everything, and never being in another work that I was part of the whole steps. So this is really nice. This is, for me, is the difference. But I think everything is basically the same. If
It's
you
very
like,
similar.
yeah,
One of
it's
the
just
questions.
a nervous system that is totally different.
Yeah, I remember you saying that in the form that you fill out. Like, well, 2 questions. So one is basically how do you, well, what was the main hardship or struggle that you faced when moving to the States? And then the other one, whether you feel treated as any other team member, or you actually see that you have, faced some challenges because of being an international, a foreigner.
Um, I like we are a small office,
Mm-hmm.
and like Tom and Sue's, and in the time that I moved to here has Jaime, they were extremely welcome. Like they are adorable. Like Susie is part of like it's my sister, and they are always really receptive. Like they knew it that we would be difficult because before me has an Italian girl
I
from
know that she was also part of the
Chiara.
program years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God, Chiara, you came before me because everything that all the problems that she has, Tom and Susie make sure that I would not have. Like
Yeah, Kiera was there 4 years ago, I think, something like that. Like, yeah, years ago. Yeah.
yeah, and then so he knows, oh, car is going to be an issue, like find a house will be an issue, like open an account, all this. So when I moved to here, like I never been in Vero Beach, so he helped me with the car, he helped me find a house. Actually, I
Wow.
lived in Susie's house for almost a month before I found the
Oh,
house.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Susie is amazing. Like this is one of the reasons that I decided to stay was like I found such a great friends. Like now I'm in one of the friends' house.
Ah, okay.
Because he lived closer to the office, and then I
Yeah, so
ended up.
you felt they made you feel part of the family and work team from day
Mhm,
one. I mean, I think that obviously being from Florida, that plays a role. Like people are really welcoming. Not saying that people from the north are not the same, but I mean like and especially they had already hosted someone from overseas. As you said, they knew the main struggles that you could face, and they help you out.
mhm,
That is one thing that people normally ask us, whether we can help them with housing, with uh, you know just the main arrangements at the very beginning, and we do as much as we can. But housing is one of the most challenging items, I guess, out of everyone's list. Just because you know how the market works in the US, right? I mean, I don't know in Vero Beach especially, but in the main capitals, New York, San Francisco, LA, Chicago, any of the large cities, metropolitan areas, the market goes so fast that it's very difficult to arrange anything, in advance. So we always recommend what you actually did. Either arrive and rent an Airbnb or a temporary thing so you can actually visit the space. You can actually
yeah,
make sure that, there's no scam or not even that, like it really fits what you're looking for.
mhm,
So I mean, your experience was at another level if they host you in their house, but that's amazing. And in terms of what I was saying, because that is one of the fears that many people ask us, like, because they get confused with the immigration kind of titles like intern, trainee, and all that, because the J1 visa that we provide, is in one of those two categories. But then
mhm,
they think, am I going to be treated as an intern, like a entry level? And
mhm,
of course, if you are an entry level, you just graduated from school, yes, same way that an entry level from a local area from the States will be treated. But that's all, right? I mean, do you feel like they acknowledge all your background and all your experience and started from that point, or you have to kind of build um, the trust and everything?
I think both, because they knew it, what I was able to do, but everything is a little different. Like, so like the first task that they give me was like, oh, we need to like design, which is normally we don't do, like design this furniture for this house, and like Susie say, like do everything 2D just to make sure that you can familiar with like the ArchiCAD and the measure system. And one thing
Oh,
that
so
I
you
that
guys
I
use ArchiCAD. Okay, you tell
we
me
use
about that
ArchiCAD
later.
here, and So one thing now I do exactly in like 3 minutes. I took the whole day. Yeah, because like, oh my god, I can't understand what it's inches and food. Like my devices study a little bit more before. At least
That,
now that one foot is 12 inches, like the basic that I have no idea before. So it
yeah,
take me a while, the measure
to
system.
get
Yeah,
adjusted.
I
Yeah.
still complain every single day, especially when like someone send cabinetry shop drawings that have all the kind of fractions. I say, why you guys use this system? Why use fractions?
Well, I don't think that they are willing to change that anytime soon. So anyone who is considering the option of working in the States, that is one of our main recommendations when they reach out to us saying, "Hey, what software should I, you know, get more familiar with, or can I start studying code or zoning or any specifics?" And we always recommend two things. One is to get used to Imperial system. That will make your life much easier. That applies also to the UK. When I worked in London years ago, I worked in two different projects. One, I was lucky enough that it was not in the UK, and so it was in France, and we did it. No, sorry, in France, in Italy, and it was in metric system, so I was perfectly fine. But then there was another school in north of UK, and everything was in Imperial system, and that was my first kind of experience with this new whole world. And it's true that it can make your life really really sad and really blue. So if you guys get a chance to get used to there, a lot of not only tools but like quizzes and fun kind of exercises that you can find online. If you're interested, let us know and we will send you some references to start. Kind of it's almost like an exercise for your brain, right? Just to get used to. And so that is one of the main recommendations. And the other one is Revit. That's why I got well, ArchiCAD is actually quite widespread as well in the US. Some offices use ArchiCAD, but so you guys never used Revit at all? Is ArchiCAD, and what other softwares do you use?
Yeah, we use ArchiCAD and Kaji and SketchUp sometimes.
Uh-huh.
But I think they try both, and because of like the price and the facility to using ArchiCAD,
Yeah.
they decided for the ArchiCAD. Yeah,
I mean,
I
they're
think
very similar, but
yeah, but like ArchiCAD's more friendly.
okay.
I use it. I Revit in FEJME. So I was familiar with both because in Baco I use ArchiCAD, so it was extra easy transition.
Transition. Uh-huh.
But as I say, like my tip for the Imperial system is like in the beginning you are always trying in your head like try to translate the measure. Like, oh, it's 2 inches. How much is 2 inches in centimeters? Oh, it's about 7 centimeters. No, it's a new dimension. Don't
Yes.
exist new. Like 1 inches is about this, and like 1 foot is about this, and this is going to be a new system. When I stop it to try in my head to translate for meters,
It's when you started actually
yeah,
inheriting the
complaining
new
less.
dimension.
Complain less.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
single day I complain a little just because I'm annoying.
You're Latin, right? And we are complainers.
Yeah,
but
no, but my
but
boss, but even
Americans
the
do not
same,
like that though.
even in that, because my boss, he worked from to normal foster,
Oh,
and he, for a different like big international companies, and actually he moved to Egypt a couple years ago, and there was everything in meters, and he was, oh, this is so much better. And then he came back to the United States. Oh, again, the imperial system.
yes, yes. I mean, I would say that the good thing about complaining is to be vocal. So I'm just trying to throw some ideas that are educational for the people that are watching us. Like, and it's slightly different, right? Like, I know that you know, the American culture is not very into complaining, so they don't really like that. They don't appreciate that. However, if you turn your complaints into constructive kind of remarks or appreciations, they will love it. They will really take you seriously if you are vocal, right? If you say, why are we doing things like this? Maybe we could explore this other option, or, you know, just not basically sitting and just following directions. Like, being proactive and vocal is something that they really, really appreciate. They're very meritocratic. Is one of the things that I love the most from the American culture. And that ties with what we were talking earlier, that it's true that maybe when you land in a job in the US, you have to prove yourself, right? You have to show that you're good in this, that you are well educated at the same level that a local, because they might know that you're coming from Sao Paulo, but they don't know how good was your university, or, you know, the certificate that you got. And so you have to, yeah, do some work in terms of proving yourself. But as soon as they realize that you are strong and that you have things to actually share and bring over the table, they will really, you know, take note of that and promote you, give you more responsibility, make you feel part of a larger structure, and give you all the opportunities. So I guess that takes us to a more recent or more present situation, because when was your J1 coming to an end? It was like, how long ago? When did you finish the J1 visa?
July
In
was 12th
July.
July was my last day as a J1 visa holder, and then
Uh-huh.
I so I get so I started the process of the O1 around uh, probably April, May, I think.
So before.
Yeah,
But
before.
let me just ask you, because I know that many people are super interested in the O1 visa process. You know, it's awesome that you got it. That means that we were right and that you're super good. Because for the guys that for who does not know that visa, the O1 visa or the artist visa, I remember when I got it also years ago, and I reading the you know, the papers, and my title, your title now, was like, you're an alien, okay, an alien with extraordinary abilities in your field. And
Mhm.
I remember going through the border the first time at the airport, and the guy, you know, that every time you go over the border, you're always scared. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's the same
always.
feeling for you, even though you have your papers in
Yeah,
good standing and
it's
everything's
always
fine.
going to be you're going to be shaking, and yeah.
Yes, but all of a sudden, I was treated in a different way. Like, they were looking at me almost like if it was not at the start, but like, you might be really good at what you do. And so, getting the O1 visa, well, whoever is involved in immigration, or whoever is like from overseas, will respect you a lot if you get it. But
Mhm.
I was gonna ask you, how did you get to that point? I mean, how did it happen? Did your company, did your boss offer you this option? Did you bring it up? How did it happen?
So, like, of course, in the beginning, exactly like you say, like, you are more shy. You don't, if you didn't try to get more responsibility because you are adapting. And I think in my job, I don't need it to all the time prove that I was good. But like, your whole life here, you need to prove yourself. Especially being a Latin person, they don't look like really well to us. Unfortunately, it's true. Like, so
Yeah.
to get an apartment, as soon as I get here, I love one of the options, and but to get the approval to live there took me 3 weeks, and because they were we don't have social security number. We
Credit
don't have credit in the,
history.
yeah, we don't have credit in the bank. So like, how can I trust this girl? So they tried to check my core in Brazil, and it's impossible because like we don't have this in Brazil. So I asked them, like, can I at least meet people? And they look to me. I can bring my boss. He can come here, like,
Yeah.
introduce himself. Like, oh, she is being paid. She will pay the rent. Like, I can sign for her. So this was a little
A big
like,
struggle at
come
the
on,
beginning.
guys. Like, the government approved me to be here. Who are you to say that I can live here? You know? But so you are always fighting, like proving yourself, trying to proving yourself that you're good. Okay, you're good. But like, and then okay. So about when I was finishing my visa, I was already like, maybe I want to stay a little bit more. Like I asked Tom, like, if I have another option, do you agree to stay with me more time? Say, yeah, of course, please, I need you.
I
I can't
remember
leave.
speaking with him. Because we now reach out to, our participants companies like 6 months in advance before your program is coming to an end, just to explain them the options in the event they want to keep you, so you have enough time to work on your visa application, whether it's an H-1B or the old one. The old one is pretty intense and difficult. You can tell us about that in a bit. And so I remember him saying, yes, what can we do? What's the options? We really want to keep her. And so when you suggested let's explore other options, they were open, right?
Yes, you say, yeah, let me know what you need, like what you need for
I'm going to
us.
open the window. Just keep going. It's just I'm
Okay, yeah,
bowling.
yeah. So I just
Sorry, guys.
want to know what we need to like offer, like what kind of help we can have to give you. I know, like even financial, he offered me help. Let's say, no, Tom, I got this. I really want to stay, and I just need a really good letter of recommendation for helping you. So yeah, the process is like painful. It's really hard. It's not easy. It's a lot of paperwork. It took me 2 or 3 months to get everything together.
The list,
I,
yeah.
yeah, I think it took me more time than normally because of the COVID. I need a lot of like documents from like my university, and they weren't there like physically, like paper. So I say, oh, I need this, like this specific documentation. I say, oh, we don't have no one in the office to give it to you. So
So
was a
you for you was even more challenging because getting the
yeah.
compiling everything that is required was difficult.
Yeah. So and call like all my other like bosses and explain I really need a really good recommendation letter, like put some specific words, and then so like unfortunately a lot of people don't really write well in English in Brazil. So they send me the letter, I need to translate, give to my lawyer, she correct everything, send me back, translate again, send to the others. So it was a painful process. But
Yeah. You have to be chasing too many people, right? In order to
yeah,
make things happen. But I was gonna say that, sometimes, when you are very into something, you just don't see the options. And I know how stressful can be waiting for someone to just send you a reference letter. So it's a little bit out of topic, but just in case it helps someone applying for anything. If you ever see yourself in a position where you're waiting for someone to sign off a reference letter, this seems to be pretty obvious, but not everyone think about this. Like, just you have to make that person's life easy. Probably they're very busy. If they are tutors at the school, or if they are, running their own business or anything like that. You can very in a polite way just suggest in the first email, because sometimes just because we don't want to be, a bother, we just knock the door very carefully, and then you knock again, and then you knock again, and then you knock again. It's better that you just comprise in one email very clearly what you need, what what you expect from the person, like a very clear call to action. It's almost like in marketing or in business, like what is the call to action for the person so they know what you need. So and sometimes what it makes that action happen is that you just send them a draft reference letters for them to review, or as you did, a translation if they are not
No,
English speakers.
for everyone, I did like a kind of, I did the letters and like correct word. Feel free to put more information, take off some information. Because like, yeah, because when you ask a letter of recommendation, nobody wants to write for you. Nobody wants to write for you.
Everyone is busy, right? And everyone knows because,
But
we have always been in that position.
Even for the J1, we need, I think, 2 or 3 letters of recommendation for the J1 visa. So it's something that doesn't matter what kind of visa are you applying, you will need one.
Yes, that's another good takeaway. Like, regardless if you've been working for a company for 3 months or for, it doesn't matter the length. Just try to always finish as best as possible in that place, because you never know when you're gonna need their help down the line. But always, before you leave, ask for that reference letter. The best moment to get a reference letter is when you are still in the company, when you are still part of the team, because they have fresh what you've been doing. So their feedback, their reference or endorsement is going to be more realistic. They're going to have like more it's almost like a vocabulary, right? More things to bring over the table in terms of your reference letter. And so always try to keep that in mind, and don't leave a place without a reference letter, because maybe when you need it, it's gonna take you longer than you expected, or even the company closes and you never get that reference letter, right? So it's something to take into account, because you never know when you're gonna use it. And for the O1 visa, I guess even if you had reference letters from before, as you mentioned, probably that those letters would have needed to be kind of reformulated, because there's like a lot of technical aspects or keywords that the immigration lawyer is going to be looking for, like for very outstanding or very extraordinary abilities, right? As we were saying before. So everything has to sound like you're going to be the next Zaha Hadid, right? Or that you're gonna build the Empire State of the future or something like that. So it's very important that you work your reference letter very well, and get always like a specialist attorney helping you out. Actually, what was your experience with that? Did you get assistance, or it was just you figuring out?
No, it's necessary. It's not possible to do by yourself. It's my petition, like my work. They say petition, yeah, petition,
yeah.
Has 450 pages. It's a lot of documents. You need help.
Yeah, mine was like that. Yeah,
exactly. It's huge. Just to shipping to LA was like $100, just all the paper. So, and someone asked how many letters. Depends of if the J1.
Oh yeah.
It's I think 2 or 3 letters.
For the J1, it's super simple. I mean, you cannot compare the J1 visa process to any work visa, because it's like different universe. The J1 visa can be, in terms of documentation, can be handled within a morning, right? It's just a matter of having your degree, your transcripts, and reference letters, like 2 reference letters, and CV, and that's it. And from the company, it's a matter of 2 or 3 documents that they already have as an open and active business. So it's pretty simple. But for the O1, I don't recall. It's eight reference letters, 8 or 10. It's like many,
No,
right?
it's so they have 10 they have 10 items, and you need to reach at least 3 of these items. So like I don't remember all this, like
Criteria, yeah.
Yeah, 10, 15 years, and you need to like achieve at least 3 of them.
That's correct.
So like recommendation letters was one of the goals that I actually achieved. And I think I had one for my current job, which was the biggest one. Like, and he put a lot of stuff like why he wants me here, what he planned for me for the next 3 years, like why he really needs me here. So, and then he put this, what I did this year here, and then like the new proposal about salary and everything else. And so FGMF feedback on, I think it was six or seven.
6 or 7? Yeah.
Yeah, but like it depends how many jobs do you have, you already
That's
had.
true.
And
I mean,
then
you can also get reference letters from past tutors,
yeah,
university teachers, just talking about how good you were, for me, from my experience, and we've got so many participants going through the O1 successfully, um, upon J1 visa completion, is that everything is around how you build the case. Like, you have to put things in perspective, because the person who is going to be reviewing your application might have no idea about architecture, or all the specifics around the industry, right? So they don't have the capability to assess whether you are extraordinary or not. But that disappears as soon as you put yourself in context. For instance, because one of the criteria that are requested is awards, or right, like any sort of achievement in the industry. So if you, for instance, got a grant that is very specific for your country, like for instance in Europe, the Erasmus is super famous here, but in the States they don't know what an Erasmus scholarship is, right? So you have to, instead of just saying, yes, I got this scholarship, to Erasmus scholarship to work at, I don't know, this company in London that it already, oh, sorry, to study in this university in the UK or whatever, you have to put that in context by giving numbers. Like, out of 150 students that apply for the same, location, same university, only 2 people got it. So you're already, putting yourself in the rank, right, at a very top level. And that applies to everything. The same thing with reference letters. Like, you really need to showcase why you were that good at that moment and at that school or that company.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a lot of paperwork.
But you said that you had an attorney, right, helping you
Yeah,
out.
yeah. She helps me. The girl that helped me was amazing. She built the case really well, because usually when we issue all the paperwork, she told me like normally they, like in a month, they're going to ask more documents, more information, like
CRFIs, the request
yeah,
for evidence.
yeah, and especially she told me like after Trump, like
Everything had changed.
exactly. So everything's a little
Yes.
bit more difficult right now. So
Yeah.
it's normal that they ask for more information. And I say, okay, I will be prepared. She say, and we need to try to send them as soon as possible. They don't like to wait. Or you go again like to the bottom. So you need to be quick. Say, okay, I will be prepared. But
It's
nobody
almost
asked.
like a part-time job, right? Trying to get all the evidences ready and yeah, together.
And sometimes it's not about you. Like you already waiting for someone information. Like at the recommendation letter, it's not you that write. It's not your signature. It's not something
Yes.
that, okay, I'm not
Or the
sleeping this
papers
night.
from the school, as you said, is. So the best thing, if you're considering applying, is that you work in the petition in advance. That's why we reach out to participants and host companies like in 6 months before their program is coming to an end, so they can start the conversation and assess the opportunity and so on. And so you got it approved. It took you, how long did it take the process to get it approved or not, to find the
So we issued first week of July. That was, I think, 4th of July, like after the 4th of July. Good. And then my approval was like 2 weeks ago, so beginning of October. So July, August, September, like almost 3 months.
That's actually a pretty long time for the O1 visa. Normally, and I am sure that is because of the current situation. Because
Yeah.
normally, in my case, it was a matter of 2 weeks or something like that. Probably my company submitted the express service, but even if you do it for the normal, standard processing, it normally takes like a month or so. I mean, it's pretty fast. And then, what are the rights that you have now? How long are you free now for
Now
staying in the
3
US?
years. 3 years.
It's a very rewarding feeling, right? Like,
It's amazing feeling because I was like always like what I'm going to do, because for a while I was illegal in a country. Like, you're not illegal because you have all, like, when you issue and we are waiting for someone to give you an answer, you're not illegal, but you can renew your drive license, you can renew a lot of stuff. So it's like, okay, I need to drive because Florida, it's not an option. Don't have a car. You need a car for do absolutely everything. Don't exist public transportation. So I was driving with no drive license. I was always like, oh my God, if I pull over, I'm
yeah.
in trouble. So, and I say, oh my God, should renew my apartment? Should I start like packing stuff? Should I send what I'm moving, where I'm going? Like, so it's
Very
really
stressful.
stressful. Yeah, and you need to make I cannot make decisions. So it was for a while like that, but thank God for I get approved.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not by luck. I mean, you prove yourself again,
Hmm.
and you got it, and it's amazing because the O1 visa, if I recall correctly from when I got it, is for 3 years, but you can renew it forever, right? After 3 years, you can renew it again and again and again.
Yeah, I
If
think
you have a host
yeah,
employer.
yeah, I think I think it's 3 times.
Oh, now
So
it's only 3 times?
I
Huh.
think so, something like
Maybe
that.
they put a cap. No, before it was like, yeah, you could, renew it forever. But the normal transition is that normally people that want to start their career in the US, is very funny because we all have the same kind of background or beginnings. Like, you either land through an F1 visa, a student visa, or through a J1 visa, that's the one that we provide, because of an internship or a training position, right?
Mhm.
Then after that, you get the opportunity to apply for a work visa, like for a long-term visa, like the H1B or the O1. If you get lucky and you get either the lottery for the H1B or the O1 approved, then you can stay for, let's say, 6 years because you can renew it. The H1B is 2 times, and the O1B visa, now you're saying 3 times. So 6 years or 9 years that you don't have to think about that. But normally throughout that time, you either decide whether you want to go back to your country because, you've got enough, I guess, and you want to just go back home, or you start working on your green card. And then after the green card, you start working on your citizenship. And that's how people kind of move on. So what are your plans? So what in this kind of timeline, would you like to stay, or just, as you said, just play by ear?
Yeah, so this is why I didn't apply for the HP, because the process is really more expensive, and I wasn't sure. Like, I see myself working here at least for another 3 years, as I started like few projects in the end of the last year that I really want to see happen. Like, I was able to find clients that want modern stuff, so
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, so like I'm in charge of like two houses that are a little more modern. So I want to see. So we are in the process of permit sets, and then now it's going to start building in 2 or 3 months, I think.
You want to
So
see the entire process, how it
yeah,
builds up.
I was there when we meet the clients, when we develop the project, and now the funny
It's
part, I'm like,
incredible. It's incredible, Natalie, how all this started just with an 18 months, experience. And now you are becoming like an integral member of the of who's your current firm, and that you're planning to stay, for longer, and you're dealing with supervision of a project. I really hope that we are part of this. Somehow Architect US help you with all this.
no, definitely, you guys were essential.
Yeah.
Because before I met you and all team, like I sent some like CV, I asked for opportunities, nobody even answered like the emails, or like, oh, we are not hiring someone, we're not like even an answer. So if it wasn't you and the other Patricia, it would never happen.
Yes, that's the most rewarding part. Like, not only when we help you guys to get the job opportunity and to actually start the opportunity in the US with the visa and so on, is that you actually change your life. I don't know how many. I was thinking I will run a quick survey at some point, asking our community if they will be interested in doing like a I don't know how to call it, like a group, like a Zoom with a group of people, just like ex-participants and so on, just that they made it and they stayed. And because we have a large community now of ex-participants that, just as you, started their life, I mean, continue their life in the States, and they're growing as professionals, and they don't know, the sky is the limit, right? So I can totally see you, I don't know, running your own business at some point in Ocean Beach in Miami, or in Vero Beach.
Someday.
Yeah, and so your plans are to stay, or at some point you would like to go back home?
Uh,
You don't know.
Probably, yeah, for sure for visit my family soon as we can go. But mm, at least for the next 3 years, I will be here.
I see. And any recommendations for the people that are in a similar situation that you were, even, I mean, either before moving to the States or willing to apply for the big visa? Any recommendations that you could send them? It's the time, guys, to ask. I'm gonna just scroll up and see what you guys have asked, but
um,
any recommendations to them, because we're coming to an end.
I think like the only like everyone can. It's if you work like put everything together as you say, like construct your portfolio really well. Everybody's able to get it work here. It's hard, but it's not that hard, you know. And it's just you need to put a lot of energy and focus and try. You know, I think a lot of people even know that it's possible. This is.
Yeah.
I was the first Brazilian in Architect Us, right?
Yes,
Like
yes, in Architect US, the first Brazilian. I
yeah.
I can think of another guy, but I don't recall his name. He was only for like a year or less. And yeah, you were the first one.
So like like a
Hopefully
lot.
many Brazilians wanted
Yeah,
to
I'm.
become part of the family.
I think it's if you try, it's more possible that you can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's true that from overseas it's difficult.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you
No,
will need some sort of help, but yeah, you only need
but you need
to.
to start. You know, like the people like, oh, it's so difficult. Even try. You know.
Hey, yay! We have someone from Brazil, I guess, and so I'm gonna go fast because I think that the live is gonna go. Yeah, we've been talking for an hour already, and the Facebook Live is going to shut down. So I will respond. We will make sure to respond all these questions through emails. If you guys leave your emails, we will be able to send you the replay or the answers. But I'm from Brazil and I was going to apply this year. Haha, maybe next year. Sure, Julia, go for it. Maria del Carmen Maca is asking, when you apply for your J1 visa, what did you show to the consul at the embassy that you have reasons to come back to your country? That's a good question. Like, do you have to prove